Have you ever experienced a potential glitch in the Matrix? Well, consider sending it my way by going to astheravendreams.com and clicking the button that does so. And of course, thank you. So, I know that this sounds odd, but just stick with me. The first time this happened was about 5 years ago. One thing to know is that I really like scary movies, but mostly because I can recognize the patterns. They have interesting plots, and I don't get scared easily. Anyways, on the night that this happened, my family and I, my mom, her boyfriend, and sister, had decided to watch the original Blair Witch movie since my mom really liked it, and neither my sister nor I had seen it. We watched the movie, turn on the lights, and everyone is joking about the iconic snot bubble and whatnot. My sister and I then go to the bathroom. She was pretty young at this point and still got scared pretty easily. And when we return from the bathroom, the entire living room is pitch black, and my mom and her boyfriend are nowhere to be seen. Not only that, but the vibe in the room has noticeably shifted, and it's freaky quiet. At first I thought they were trying to prank or scare us, so I started calling out for them and saying things like, "Hey guys, not funny, my sister's still really scared," and, "Okay, joke's up, sister is starting to freak out." And this continues for a good 3 to 5 minutes. During this time, my sister is actually freaking out because we just watched a scary movie about people disappearing, and now her protectors are mysteriously missing. And the mood in the room is now rancid. After those minutes passed, it's like we both blinked, and then all of a sudden we were back in the brightly lit living room, and my mom and her boyfriend were sitting exactly where they were when we left, and were looking at us super concerned. Obviously, both my sister and I are thoroughly freaked out by this point, and I confirm with her that she did, in fact, also just experience what I did. My mom and her boyfriend are trying to console us, and, to be honest, I highly doubt they actually believed us. We got through the night without any other weirdness, but my sister and I will not forget that night for a very long time. Of course, just one weird glitch like that would have been more than enough for me during this lifetime, but the multiverse seems to have different plans. So, the next time a glitch like this occurred was about 6-ish months ago, when I was rewatching the newer version of Blair Witch, the 2016 version, with my roommate. While we were watching the movie, everything was fine and nothing was weird. Neither one of us got particularly scared, and I had decided to call it a night. Before heading to bed, I wanted to get my work clothes washed and dried, so I started doing that. By this point, my roommate had left to go to her room. Important note, this was a student apartment, so it was laid out with the living room, where we watched the movie, in the front with the partially enclosed kitchen next to it. Next to the kitchen was a small hallway that had a small laundry closet on one side, and my room on the opposite, and then 2 bedrooms at the end of the hall. In order for my roommates to get to the living room, from her room, she would have had to have walked directly in front of or behind me. As I'm putting my laundry in the washer, I look and see my roommate's door cracked, and can hear her on the phone with her mom. So, I just go back to my business and finish loading everything up. After I'm done, I look into the living room one last time to make sure I didn't need to put anything else away, and, like the time before, it's pitch black in the room and the vibes are suddenly very not good. I can't see the streetlight that is usually shining through the living room, it's freaky quiet, and I can't hear my roommate on the phone anymore. While taking this all in and trying to figure out what the hell is going on, I'm standing in the middle of the hallway, essentially blocking the path, and have not moved from the laundry closet. Then, like last time, I blinked and all of a sudden my roommate is sitting on the couch watching TV, asking me why I'm just standing there staring at her. I still have absolutely no clue why this continues to happen to me, or why it has something to do with the Blair Witch franchise, but I think it's safe to say that I will be avoiding the franchise for the rest of my life. I don't think my brain could survive another glitch like one of these. It was December 9th, 2018, when my father died. And after his death, my brother and mother talked about strange smells and sounds of unusual knocking in the house. But I rationally tried to approach it, and didn't believe in anything paranormal at the time. I didn't hear anything weird, didn't smell anything, and told my family that in order to believe in anything supernatural, I would need solid proof. A few weeks later, when I finished work, I went to the locker room to change, and so I opened my cupboard. In the middle of it, there lies a beautiful violet stone. I was stunned, but I photographed it, and when I got home, I posted the photos on a forum about minerals and gems to find out what kind of stone it was. I found out later that it was an amethyst. We didn't have spare keys at work, and if someone lost theirs, you had to break into these solid lockers, so there's no way someone could open mine and drop off the stone, because the locker was normally locked with no sign of break-in. It was really weird. It was like stepping out of the Matrix for a moment. I took the amethyst home, and it lied there for a long time until 2020, when I was upset that I had something unexplained on the shelf. I always considered myself a scientifically oriented person, so I threw the stone in the garbage out of frustration. That same day, I went out to the pub. It was after the breakup with my ex-girlfriend, and I wanted to let off some steam, and while I went out to smoke, I started talking to this one chick. We got along well, so after a while we went inside and she bought me a drink. Then, darkness. I woke up lying on the market square at 9 a.m. with a complete lack of memory of what had happened. I put myself together, got home, and I realized I was poisoned, because I completely blacked out after one drink. It had never happened to me before. I went to the police to do blood tests, which confirmed I got GHB in my system. I checked all my bank accounts. 4 years of savings were gone. Maybe $50 were left out of the big sum. I was devastated for several months. In 2022, during the training at my new job, I talked to one trainer whose wife was interested in gems and minerals. I told him this story and sent him a photo of this gem, and his wife confirmed it was indeed an amethyst. What's more, she said that in ancient times they made goblets studded with amethyst to keep people sober, and they were supposed to prevent you from getting drunk. It blew me away, because the day that I threw that stone out, I was poisoned. And to this day, I don't know what to think, because it sounds like a story straight out of a cheap book. In addition, I always had the keys to the locker with me. I thought maybe someone had played a prank on me, but I know these people well, and I looked around like crazy after seeing this stone, looking for smiles, tells, anything. But everyone had a poker face and no one knew what was going on. Plus, it would be a weird prank if someone broke into a colleague's locker to leave an amethyst there. Plus, it doesn't sound like a joke. The fact that I had the keys with me all the time bugs me to this day, and I don't see any rational explanation for this amethyst appearing out of thin air. Also, the locks to those cabinets are damn strong. I remember when someone lost a key, it took 20-30 minutes to break it, and then the lock needed to be replaced. There were no traces of a break-in in my case. This story does have an interesting twist, because last year, I went to Dresden, Germany, on my own, and on the last day of my trip, for the first time in my life, I couldn't choose a restaurant, and in the middle of the day, a lot of the best spots were closed. Usually, I choose a restaurant in a minute. This time, I stood there undecided in the center for 30 minutes, and I could not choose a place to eat. Then I heard a beautiful melody being played on a violin. I turned around and walked toward the music, and in one of the squares was a duo playing classical music, which I loved. I'm standing there, and out of the corner of my eye, I see that I'm standing next to a gift stand. I turned around because I just wanted to buy a small souvenir, and on this stand, apart from the magnets and the postcards, there were amethysts. I felt like in a movie. I bought one and I still have it to this day, and even now, it hangs around my neck. Since you guys liked my other story, I wanted to share another. This is my second post here and will probably be my last one unless or until something else happens that's crazy enough to be worth sharing here. Let me be clear that this story is way longer and very different from my last one. It's nearly traumatized me for life, and it is the strangest and scariest thing that has ever happened to me. It may sound unbelievable, but it was so messed up that I have never forgotten a detail, despite being 5 or 6 years ago. So, as I mentioned, this was some time ago. I woke up in the middle of the night to the scariest hallucination. I looked at my calendar, which was right over the front of my bed on the wall, and I saw a portal-looking thing with a Slenderman-like creature jumping out of it at me and making some screeching noise. But it slowly faded away. I've never had visual hallucinations before this, so it was a first. Not too long after, I hear a very deep voice saying, "Here you go," coming from the ceiling. It was so deep that it was like it wasn't speaking, but I could feel the words in the deep rumbles. Then, suddenly, a tiny plastic toy tiger fell from the ceiling straight into my lap. I could barely see, but I picked it up, examined it with my fingers, and instantly recognized it. I put it on my nightstand and just continued sitting up in my bed, completely in shock. I could not physically move, but tears were still streaming down my face. I just sat there frozen for 10 minutes because I was already terrified, and then that happened. I cried myself back to sleep and then woke up at my usual time, thinking all of this was just some insanely vivid hallucination because I was tired. But then my stomach dropped. I looked at my nightstand and I saw the toy tiger right where I remembered putting it after it fell. I have no history of sleepwalking, and I know for a fact before that night, the tiger was in the rec room in the toy box, along with all the other tiny plastic animals that we had. I spent the rest of the morning showing the tiger to my family and telling them about what happened. I still don't know what happened, how much of that was real and what wasn't, but I know for sure the tiger falling out of my ceiling was. Just thinking about it makes my eyes tear up, even right now. Maybe the voice talking to me was real, or some entity made me have such a vivid hallucination. I don't know, and I still to this day cannot explain it. For some context, in 2017, when I was 18, I spent my whole summer days playing Destiny 4 on PS4 with my friends online. It was a routine. I wake up at 9, go to the TV at around 9:30, milkshake by my side as breakfast. I boot up Destiny, connect with my friend via voice chat, and then play until bored. I did this for 3 months, almost every single day. I noticed that I would get bored after 5 or 6 hours of playtime, and then I would just quit to go do stuff outside. so it would always be around 2 or 3:30 p.m. when I turn off my PS4 and start preparing to go outside. Note that I always play in an upright position on a chair, because sweaty PvP. So on this one day, after 2 whole months of this routine, all was normal until I got bored and salty because I was on a magnificent loss streak. I said goodbye to my friends and looked at the hallway expecting to see a 3 p.m. or 4 p.m. max, because I always hang out with my friends in the neighborhood at that time. To my shock, I saw 2300, or 11 p.m. The hallway was dark with the only source of light being the red digits on this digital wall watch. My head started to hurt from the sheer shock. I felt cold, got goosebumps, because I simply could not believe it. I grabbed my head with my controller still in my hand and started loudly whispering to myself that this cannot be real. I remember having tears in my eyes. I always pull the curtains and turn on lights while playing because I don't like sunlight with TV. Mom was always annoyed at me for this, and I have no medical condition where I fall asleep suddenly or faint out. The annoying part is that my friend and mom acted all normal. It almost felt staged. He said that I left as usual, and she said that I didn't notice her no matter how much she tried to talk to me. My neighborhood friends told me that I didn't come out, they just didn't meet me outside that day. Everyone just blames it on falling asleep or not noticing time pass by. But how would I not notice 6 hours? I was literally about to start my day in real life, outside, only to see that there was nothing to start and that the day had already ended before it even started. I struggled to sleep that night, both because of shock and too much energy left in me that I didn't get to expend. I used to do parkour every day and other sports occasionally throughout the week. Anyways, thank you for taking the time to read this. I had a very strange incident happen to me while we were shifting our apartment. Due to some financial issues, my family of 4, mom, dad, me, and my older sister, had to sell our old apartment and shift to a rented apartment not far from where we used to live. This incident didn't happen very long ago. I was 19 and was about to turn 20 the next month. I had this perfect pair of black high-top suede shoes. In fact, I still have them. I haven't thrown them out, but I don't wear them as they're in rough shape. I wore those shoes throughout my junior college, and they were my go-to pair for outdoors, so I always had them on the shoe rack. We were packing our individual stuff in polythene bags and cardboard boxes, and I remember picking up all of my shoes, and the first one to go into the box were these black ones. After finishing all of the packing, we had all of our stuff, including all the furniture, in the new rented apartment. The first thing I started to unpack were my shoes. And, to my surprise, the shoes were not there. I asked my mom and my sister if they had seen them. They both denied seeing them. I thought that I must have left them back at our old apartment, so I went back to check. And I couldn't find them there, as there was nothing left there. I was pretty sad. I loved that pair. I went to the store to buy a new pair, but I could not find any similar shoes. After some time, I just accepted the fact that I had lost them, somewhere in the boxes, or the packing, or the moving crew must have stolen them. These are the only possibilities that I could think of. Now, my family and I visit my grandparents every year during the holidays, and sometimes go there in the summer as well. So we did visit them that year too. The holiday season was great, and we had so much fun. When we started to pack our bags to go back, my grandma came to me with the same pair of shoes that I had lost. I was shocked to see the same pair with her. It even had the stains that my previous ones had. I asked her how and where she found them. To that she replied, "Oh, you left them here when you came here last summer." I'm damn sure that I did not leave them there in the summer, as I wore them so many times after that summer. And what about me remembering packing them in the box? I still can't explain how this must have happened. I told my mom and sister, and they were also shocked to see them there. My mind cannot digest the fact that when I put these shoes in the box, they somehow ended up at my grandma's place. This happened last month, in January of 2023. My wife and I and our 18-year-old daughter live in a small home, 3x2 with 2-car garage, and we've been here 14 years. We know every nook and cranny. We have a water dispenser with 3 blue translucent bottles, and we love our water, and when the bottles are empty, one of us goes to fill them up at the water station not too far away. My wife went to visit her relatives in Tennessee and flew out on day 1. I took her super early in the morning to the airport. As we were leaving for the airport, I noted to myself that all 3 bottles were empty and that I would need to refill them. When I got back from dropping her off, I did a bunch of chores and some work for my job, and in the afternoon decided to get some fresh air, get out of the house, and refill the bottles. Except, I could only find 2. I looked all over the house and could only find the 2. At this point, I didn't really think anything of it. I went to fill the 2 of them, but the machine was being serviced, so I returned home with no water. I left the 2 bottles in the SUV. Day 2, I once again looked for the missing bottle. It was nowhere to be found. It's not really an easy thing to miss. It's a 2-foot tall by 1 foot in diameter blue bottle. We've had these bottles for years. 3 of them. For 3 of us. Day 3, and now it's becoming weird. I call my daughter, who is house sitting for friends, and I ask her if she has the bottle. Of course, being 18 and a wise arse, she asks me if I'm ready for the senior care home. No, I don't have a giant blue bottle randomly in my car, she replies. I ask her just to check her vehicle, which she does, and reports, yeah, bottle not there. Day 3 and 4, I am looking everywhere. I am openly declaring this a mystery. I call my wife and ask if she broke one or threw it in recycling. No, is the answer. I ask if she remembers anything, and again, a flat no. Now, as I have said, this is not a large house that we live in. There's only so many places a big blue water bottle can go. At the end of the 4th day, my daughter comes home to get some personal stuff, and I open the door to greet her. I explain how weird it is about the bottle, and I ask her to help me look. We both look everywhere. High, low, under tables, in closets, everywhere, including the attic above the garage. We're standing in the garage at the table next to the washer and dryer, discussing the possibilities. She suggests that perhaps I was loading them in the car and left it outside and someone swiped it. I said not a chance, and I remind her that she filled all 3 bottles last time because I helped carry one of them inside when she returned home. We're both standing, looking around the garage, and just declare it a mystery and move on with our day. Much later on day 4, my wife returns from her trip on the late flight. I pick her up from the airport. She travels light, so there's no real luggage. We get home and go to sleep as it's midnight. The next morning, I'm making coffee and she goes to do laundry. She calls out from the garage, "Hey, that water bottle's right here on the table." My blood ran cold. I walked out to the garage. There on the old kitchen table that is under the fluorescent light, where my daughter and I ended our search the day before, is the missing blue bottle. It's sitting upright against a white wall, beneath the bright lights in the garage. I know that over the 4 days I looked at that spot. It's not hidden. It's not dark. She and I stood there the previous day looking all around and ended the conversation at that table. My daughter was flummoxed as well. So my wife went away and one of the 3 bottles disappeared. She came back and it rematerialized. I will never forget this. It happened, and I get creeped out whenever I think about it. Hey, I've been watching your videos since you added one of my stories from Reddit. I was about to post this on Reddit, but as I was listening to your latest video while doing some chores, I thought, why not? And here I am. These events took place during many years and between 3 people. Myself, my little sister Nicole, and my best friend Zorzette. A couple of years ago, when I was 14 years old, I had my first past life memory dreams. Or so I believe they were, anyways. In between those dreams, I would always meet this woman with mesmerizing green eyes. I had some continuing of these past life dreams, and the green-eyed woman reappeared around 2018 when I was 19 years old. In those dreams, she always guided me from afar, and whenever I would get close, she would speak in various languages: Vietnamese, French, English, and Italian. My native language is Greek, but I've been speaking English since I was 6 years old, so most of my dreams are in English. I haven't seen the green-eyed woman in other dreams before or after these dreams, but I have seen a male person with green eyes in my dreams from time to time. Most times, these male figures would either be my lover, husband, boyfriend, or just being a very close friend of mine. Those dreams felt so warm and safe. Then, my sister, one day as we were hanging out around 2018, she confessed to me that she'd been having dreams where a green-eyed woman was talking to her and guiding her through her nightmares. Then, one evening, my best friend Zorzette and I were hanging out at my aunt's house around 2019, and we were talking about conspiracies and glitches in the Matrix. When she told me about those weird dreams she has from time to time throughout the years, she said that she would see a green-eyed woman in the distance, and when she would try to get close to her, she would shake her head no. Now, the kicker is that Zorzette had green eyes, almost identical eyes. When I pointed that out, she looked spooked, and went to look at her eyes in the mirror. Her eyes are a bit more light than the ones that all 3 of us had dreamed of. Then, we told my sister, and all of us got a cold shiver down our spines. A few hours later, Zorzette said that maybe that was a sign for us to get together, like assuring us that we would meet each other. My sister said that maybe the green-eyed woman or man is like a guardian angel guiding us. It was the summer of 2019 when Zorzette went to Cyprus and called me one day telling me she was at the Dead Zone, the borders between Greek Cyprus and the Turkish-occupied Cyprus, when she saw this woman with green eyes that was paying her respects. Zorzette took a picture and sent it to me. She was the same woman that I saw in my dreams. The only thing missing was either a headscarf or a nurse outfit. I showed the picture to my sister, and she said it was a younger version of the woman in her dreams. Flash forward to the Christmas holidays of 2021. My sister and I were spending the week after Christmas Day in Thessaloniki, when across the Aristotelos Square, the part near the Nikis Avenue, not the rest of it that stretches through Simiski Street, Ignatia 824 Highway, we saw the green-eyed woman. We exchanged shocked looks, and we tried to get through the people to get to her, but we could not get there in time. Since then, we haven't seen her. Not in our dreams or in reality. So, what the hell is happening? About 3 years ago, My partner and I lived in a top floor flat, 5th floor, no elevator, stairs only flat on the floor. It was okay sized, but small enough that you could hear anything going on from any room, really. They were all very close together. There was one corridor connecting all the rooms, so you would cross each other if you were changing rooms. I was working a late shift, got in around 23:30ish, maybe midnight. Boyfriend was obviously already in bed, so I came in and went straight to the bathroom to wash up, get changed, and wind down, etc. Pottered in the kitchen for maybe 10 minutes and had a drink, and then I headed into the bedroom for the night. I get in, and I can't see my boyfriend. I presume he's just rolled up in the duvet or something, so I go over and move the duvet, and he's literally not in bed. I move the whole duvet back, and he is not there. I turned the light on, checked the whole room from top to bottom, and thought that he might be pranking me, waiting to jump out or something. But no, he's not there. First thought is, okay, maybe he's in the spare room on his computer having a late night? Nope. In the bathroom and we just missed each other's paths somehow? Nope. I checked the whole flat top to bottom. Every room, doors still locked. He is genuinely nowhere. I would hear him if he was sleepwalking or something like that. Getting panicked, I text him, "Where are you?" Maybe for some crazy reason he's gone out for a walk or something, I don't know. No response after a few minutes, so I decided to check around one last time. I go into the bedroom. He's in bed. The lights are off. He's snoring as if he's been out of it for hours. I wake him up and explain everything that just happened. He groggily suggests that I was dreaming, but he checks his phone, and the text is there plain as day. It definitely happened. He's convinced to this day that he was asleep the whole time. The whole thing is bizarre to me, as he definitely wasn't there. Where the hell did he go? He's absolutely certain that he was asleep in bed the whole time, but the text proves that I wasn't dreaming, and I know he wasn't there. Why would I panic and text him otherwise? To this day, I have no idea what the hell happened, and I don't think that I ever will. People I tell this story to are just as perplexed. I don't think they believe me. I live in an apartment that has a small patio. I live with my cat, and there's no way for another animal larger than a cockroach to get into said patio, because the wall separating it from my neighbor's patio is tall and unclimbable, and anything coming from above would need to take a 4-story fall. There's only one way to enter the patio, through a door in my kitchen. There are windows to the patio, but they all have mosquito screens, or nets, not sure what the right word is, that can't be removed and have no holes. I have only one cat, no other pets, and my neighbors do not own any animals. The door to the patio is sometimes open for my cat to go out when I'm home during the day, but I bring her inside and close the door when it gets dark. She's used to this routine by now, and will sometimes run inside without me coaxing her when she hears me walking to the door to the patio. So, one day, I'm going to get her. I walk towards said door and she runs inside, brushing past me. I see her, feel her fur on my leg, because I was wearing shorts. I hear her little bell go by and her soft meow of acknowledgement. As I mentioned, she knows the gig, and will sometimes come in by herself, so nothing seemed strange to me. I closed the door, looking at the floor to make sure the cloth I use as a sort of mat is not caught on the bottom of the door, because then it's a pain to open again. I go back to what I was doing, and a few minutes later a gust of cold wind blows. And shortly after that, I start hearing scratching on the door to the patio. I thought it had to be one of two things. Either a rat had defied all laws of physics to be in my patio, or my cat was asking to go outside again. I grab a stick just in case it's the former and go to check. To my surprise, the noise came from the cat. Outside, asking to be let in. I open the door and she comes running in, meowing indignantly. As I mentioned, once inside and with the door closed, she could not have exited again. I mentioned the part of the cloth because she could not have sneaked past me as I was looking at her only way out. It's not like I only saw a dark figure and assumed it to be her. I felt and heard her too. I spent the next few hours looking at her, trying to see if she acted weird like she would if another animal were in the house, but nothing. It's been a few days, and still no sign of anything strange, other than the fact that my cat teletransported to the other side of the door. Hey, my name is Lily, and I'm a freshman in high school. This happened on Thursday, February 23rd, and the day I am writing this is the same day. Just a few minutes after I noticed. Yesterday, I got a mini in-class science project, and it's where we have to make a boat, and we have to put pennies on the boat, and we have to put as many on as we can before the boat flips over, sinks, or a penny falls off into the water. I made my boat out of a sponge and 2 pieces of duct tape, and I put my name and the name of the boat, see me now, on the top where you can clearly see it. And I have eligible handwriting. I put my boat on the respective table that I was told to by the teacher yesterday. Today I went to look for it on the table to test it, and it was gone. I just wrote it off as someone messing with me, so I told the teacher. She let me rebuild it today, and I did, and I asked to test it, which I could. She then went to look for my paper, but it was also gone. We then had to redo the paper, too. I'm not sure if someone messed with my boat and my teacher just misplaced the paper or someone somehow took the paper, or if the Matrix just took my paper and boat and erased them from reality. Sorry for the length, I'm just a bit confused. So, that, my friends, was this week's Glitch in the Matrix collection. A collection of some of the strangest, oddest, most absurd happenings in our, I guess, simulation, weird reality, whatever you want to call it. It's really up to you. Just some strange things that happen. The reason I love glitch stories, honestly, is that they always kind of teeter on the edge of paranormal, right? They're very strange stories. I guess not really did, but, like, do they happen in our actual reality, or is this some kind of intertwining between two existences? I'm done. Weird stories. Fun times. Good stuff. Wow. Hopefully you all enjoyed this collection of stories. If you did, please do hit that thumbs up button, as it does seriously help the channel so much. You guys have no idea. Then, you can also subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you're not new, please don't hit subscribe, because it will unsubscribe you, and I hope that's not what you want. If it is, please let me know what I did wrong, because I love you, and I don't want you to go. But yeah. There's also things like Patreon or memberships where you get early access to most content, as long as I'm good about getting it up. I'm kind of crappy sometimes, but that's just me. I do my best, I really do. Yeah. The last thing you can do is participate in what, my friends, we call the Word of the Week. In the Word of the Week, I give you a word, you leave a comment with said word, I put your comment on the screen the next week where if you used said word. Yeah. On the screen right now, and several moments prior to now, probably around the time I said yeah, is an image, a PNG, that shows you the screenshots, of every single person that left me a comment using last week's Word of the Week oddity. It's no oddity that these people left me the comments, because I have some of the best listeners out there. That's the damn truth. And I will 100% stand by that statement so long as I have to, because it is definitely true. You guys are amazing. And all these people went above and beyond and left me a comment with that word, so thank you to all of them. Now, this week, we're going to pass on the word of the week. That's a joke. We're not going to pass on the word of the week. The word of the week is pass, P-A-S-S, which means to move past or go by, to let go without notice, action, remark, etc., leave unconsidered, disregard, or overlook, to go or move onward, etc., etc. You know what passing is. At least, I assume you do. If not, I just told you in the definitions on the screen. So, I don't know what I'm saying here. Anyways, my friends, I hope you're all having a great week, and I hope you have a great week. I hope you're having a great week so far, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. So I was trying to say, because it's Monday. So, and I hope I do see you again soon. But please remember, you are loved, you are valid, you are important, you're the best you that you can be. Never let anyone tell you otherwise, and never forget it. And my friends, until next time, much love, and sleep well.